has come. It is time. It is time for me to finally reach the point in which I started playing the game. So on April 14th, 2003, a new region was added to the map along with a quest. This is the Caridian Desert with the quest Tourist Trap, which is actually a pretty nice quest. I know I sort of said for the observatory quest it's a quest. The Tourist Trap I actually do enjoy. It manages to be considerably more entertaining, even though a lot of it is running back and forth between a handful of locations in the desert. This desert also introduces a sort of hostility to the region, where you need water to not die. Of course, later quests rendered this less important, and Evolution of Combat made this less important because your health pool is significantly larger, and the dying from thirst scaling for short trips in the desert did not get boosted nearly as highly. But it's still there. At least until you complete one of the things that makes you able to ignore it. Now, I don't remember exactly the day I started. I remember I started near the tail end of the Easter event. So, somewhere around like the 3rd or 4th week of April of 2003. And before anyone goes and thinks of like, hey, I have a clever idea, maybe eventually Mina will be a dumbass and reveal the original name of the account. And I can steal it, it's like, I've lost that account. But yeah. Good times. Anyway. Back to the quest. Irina here is unhappy. Very unhappy. As her daughter Anna has disappeared. So, a few days ago, she wandered off into the desert as a tourist. I don't know why you would want to be a tourist in this place, but whatever. But we will be nice and helpful. And we will go and try and find it. But we get a couple of clues, one of which being the red scarf, and the other one is kind of going toward the camp. And despite being several days ago in a desert, the footprints are still very robust. So we basically talk to the captain. He manages to talk us into going and killing some other guy. We go talk to these guys, find out that the guy that we were told to go kill doesn't exist. And now we get to go and go back to the captain. Tell the captain that he's full of shit. And then, well, we'll see what happens from that. And we piss him off enough to get the key. And because we now have the key, quietly walk in. So, we're gonna help this guy escape for his clothes. And then pretend to be an actual slave. And then be able to retrieve Anna. And now we're in the, on one hand, worst part of the slave labor camp, but on the other hand, the slightly better because it's, not in the desert sun. So yeah, basically we have to get a pineapple from basically the guys that we went to originally, so that the guard gets a pineapple and lets us go and mine in a different area, which will continue with more shenanigans. But back to what I was saying, this may actually be better, considering that it's probably cooler down here. At the very least, you're not outside in the sun. So, we're going and talking to Al-Shabim over here and ask about the pineapple. Which he basically says, we'll give you a pineapple if you'll help us recover some super secret weapon plans that are hidden in the mining camp. So back to the camp we go, upstairs in the little house above the jail, in which we have this guy who is unhealthily obsessed with sailing. So we do the flirty thing and talk to him about the things he's interested in. And we keep doing this until he gets super engaged and then just starts endlessly rambling about sailing. And just doesn't notice us quietly taking the plans from under his nose and quietly walking out. And that a dirty chick in a slave mining camp showed interest in him. So back at the other camp, we hand over the plans, and as is the way with RuneScape, we get to do the actual labor involved in turning this plan into reality. So it gives us access to the little special anvil that's in this other tent over here. And we get to work making our weapon. We do our best. We try so hard. And in the end, we get a dart tip. And then we put feathers on it. And with more trying so hard, in the end, we get a dart tip. And when this was new, this was kind of a game changer for ranged, because before that, there was only bows. So this was a thrown weapon. In return, we get some darts, and we learn how to make them properly, and we get a pineapple. And now it's time to walk back across the desert back to the mining camp. So we go back inside, hand over the pineapple, in which we are now allowed to go inside the worse mining area? Yes? In which we go and try to find the lady we were told to go find. So we'll grab a barrel just in case. Barrels are always useful. And then hop in the cart, go over here, wander through the caves, find Anna, and promptly shove a barrel over her head. So she got abducted, and now she got abducted again, and now we're bringing her out of the first place she got abducted. And she's very unhappy. But that's okay. We put her on a cart, and then with a little bit of smooth talking, we get the cart owner to leave with us on it. And we have now successfully escaped from a mining forced labor camp with Anna in a barrel. Yeah. And we get XP in 2 loads of XP in fletching, agility, smithing, or thieving. One of these is a slightly more obvious choice with the amount of effort that goes into training it. And that's the quest. We get access to a bunch of stuff we're never going to use, but it's done now. Here we are, back again in Al Kharid to finish the second half of the replacement quest for Prince Ali Rescue, which is Diamond in the Rough. Yes.
The ransom message the kidnappers gave you concerns me. Please get Ozan and meet me back up in the vault. There's something I need you both to see before you get it into your heads again to steal the carrot Ib.
I know. So, this is also voice acted, so huzzah, future editing me. I get to do a lot of extra work trying to make things line up, and I can't just randomly cut things.
Will you do this? It might get dangerous. Excellent.
So we collect Ozan and go up to the vault room to talk with Osman, in which we basically have this very lovely cutscene with very lovely voice acting that is muted so that I can talk without having to have NPC voices to deal with. But pretty much the takeaway from this is the diamond that we tried to steal last time in Stolen Hearts isn't actually the real Karab Ib. It's a fake that, granted, is still a very large diamond, but it's a very large non-magical diamond. So we have this very clandestine conversation with Osman here, where he basically gives us a lot of hints that we totally should not go and find the real one and steal it and go and get the prince back. No, that would be an enormously stupid idea and exactly what the kidnappers want us to do. So why would you do that? By the way, I'm going to just leave you in here in this vault with the rope still attached and go outside and lock the door.
Now, I shall lock this vault, and it shall not be opened again until the prince is safely returned. And remember, I was never here. This conversation did not happen.
Did that screech come from the diamond?
Yeah, so these little sundials appear.
Well, that's new. I guess Osman wasn't kidding about his diamond showing us the way.
And pretty much what we have to do is we have to match the sundial onto the correct god for the sundial that appears. In this case it's Het, so human face. And then off it goes, points us in the next direction.
What did you do?
And then
Look, there's the
we
sundial.
go to the next one.
Something's off. Let's get closer.
Very spooky, very. We get ambushed.
Why won't you take me back home?
Yeah, so we pretty much have to fight these guys. They're being controlled by the diamond, and that's it, really. Not a difficult fight at all.
Not today.
Just a novice level quest after all. And then we get the piece that's missing, and then we go on to our next way. Off we go.
That's two. Looks like the next one is the Rumbles. Let's go. Hey,
Here's the next one.
is that the base of a sundial? Where's the sundial itself? Let's take a closer look. Oh, it's just the same piece that was broken off the last sundial. But where's the sundial itself? It should be here. That's enough out of you, Diamond. We're not turning back. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Hang on. It's more of a sinking feeling. Quicksand!
Well, of course, we're in the
I've
desert.
never
There must
been
be
in
quicksand.
before.
And no, that's not exaggeration. It is 2-minute cutscene. And now we're down here. And we get some more fun shenanigans. You cheeky. Oh, cheeky bastard. Yeah. You crowned us,
I didn't feel a rumble that time.
and then we just
But
follow
hey,
the light.
At least the sundial. Probably not. But there's only one tunnel lit up. Ladies first. Shh. Can you hear that? What is that noise?
Bugs. See? Bugs.
Dung calphites. Why did it have to be dung calphites? Any one of these calphites could be rolling the diamond around. It's a needle in a haystack. Well, a diamond in some, I mean, seriously, come on. We're up to our eyeballs in...
Yes, Ozan.
I know.
We know.
I was just about...
Well,
There it
it's
is!
over there.
You found the diamond! Hey, great! That must have been the fourth sundial rising! And look! It's made a hole in the ceiling!
Everett.
Okay, that's the last of them.
What was next? The lion's mouth was what the ransom note said, right?
Well, well, well. This feels familiar.
If you've heard the prince, I swear I'm gonna kick...
Ozan, don't!
I see you have trained him well, Leela.
Fine. Let's just get this over with.
So, we have a lovely long cutscene that comes in after this point, but basically the takeaway from this is... Evil hot lady is evil and hot, and is actually Amaskut, who's the goddess of destruction. Which is actually quite nice, because it ties the whole desert storylines together, as opposed to the original quest where it was just Lady Kelly was just some lady who wasn't really tied to anything, whereas now it actually ties into all of the other desert quests, which is great. But yeah, and then we find out that giving the diamond over is very bad, but we end up doing it anyway, and things progress from there. And there we go. And we've rescued the prince. And it only cost us giving away a national treasure that has untold power that is only hinted at, and probably won't come back to bite us later. And this will almost certainly not be the last time that we go and get played by Amaskut.
Oh, Prince, you are right. It was his heart.
But yeah,
Sorry you could not rescue
There's way more cutscene, big cut, lots of dialogue. It's all very nice. I highly recommend that you play this quest out and listen to the dialogue because it's very well done.
Afford it. Indeed, I may have more work
But yeah,
in
this will be
future for someone with your ability.
that's end of the quest. Diamond in the Rough is now completed. And we are back again for quest number 45 in release order, 46 that we've done. May of 2003, which is Watchtower. This is on the entire opposite side of the world, and it is yet another quest. It has some merits. It's not as particularly terrible as other quests, and it introduces like the Anil area, the Gutanath area, adds all of that content into the game, which has been built out in later quests that we'll get to in like a year. So there's definitely merit to it, just not particularly amazing. So we talked to the big honcho wizard, who's the one with the most impressive beard, and we find out that the Watchtower is not doing what it's supposed to do because someone came and nicked all of the power crystals. Which is kind of a problem because Yanil's main purpose is a sort of military fort town against the ogres to the south. So the Watchtower not watchtowering is slightly a problem. So we go down to do a little bit of forensics, dig around in the bushes, find some nasty fingernails, as well as a bunch of other random crap. And reporting back to the head wizard, we find out that the gross fingernails are from a scavid, who are apparently little weird creatures that the ogres use as servants, thieves. Never quite sure the relationship here. But we have to go into Gotanath, which requires us to get some sort of favor statue, which requires us to do tasks for these three ogre chieftains who are sitting out here. Basically, one of them wants stolen gold returned, one of them wants us to beat up another one, and the third one wants some bones. So we pretty much just have to go and get all of the things that we need, including a couple of jangleberries for later on, because you use a rope to get here. We go over to this place. His entrance is on the entire opposite side of the map, but we give him dragon bones. He's very happy. He gives us a bit of the little favor statuette. We beat up this guy, steal his tooth and his bones, and we get the gold, and then we basically just go and return everything. One of them gives us a crystal as well. But over the course of this, we get the 3 pieces for the favor statuette thingamajob. We go back to the wizard so that he can put it all together for us, because he's apparently much better at that than us. We hand over the favor statuette, which lets us go into the city, and we continue being able to go into the city, which is nice. And we basically have to go and collect a bunch of stuff that we need for this, move through all of these various rickety platforms, and solve this guy's riddle so he'll actually give us the map to the Scavid Cave so that we can go and engage in Scavid Duolingo. Long story short of this entire section is we go into different caves, talk to different varieties of Scavids, learning basic words, until we eventually know enough to be able to impress the one scabbard who actually knows what's going on, so that he'll, you know, talk to us in a language that we know and not half a dozen words of. It's very fun and very engaging and involves running around Goltanath for like an eternity, and thus will be trimmed significantly. Also, the relationship's not very good between the ogres and the scabbards. So this whole process ends up here talking to the mad scabbard, who is impressed that we learned a little bit of scabbard, gave us another one of the crystals, and then told us that the rest of them are down under with the shamans. So we have to go deal with that. So we go back, go to the guards of this cave, throw nightshade at his face so he's distracted, and then run in. And then we get sort of a little bit of a hint on how scary the shamans are. So yeah, they'll do that to us if we don't deal with them carefully. So, not knowing what to do, we go back to the wizard, who tells us to make a potion that he'll then enchant. So, it's pretty straightforward, it's just some random junk. Mainly the guam. Then some jangleberries. And then some ground bat bones. And then he enchants it. And then we go and throw nightshade at the guard ahead again to go into the cave. And then we wander in here and we start melting some shamans. Yes, yes. Be wicked witched. Melt, trash. There we go. And we get the third crystal, and then the fourth crystal. And now we can leave. Yeah, the last thing we have to do is put all of these various crystals on the associated pillars, which there's a correct option, so it's a little bit of trial and error. And then turn the watchtower back on. And that's it. We get paid. We get the ability to teleport to the watchtower. We get a buttload of magic XP, which gives us a level. We just get all of the things. And with that, we get another lodestone, so we can get down here fairly easily now. That's episode 8. Is able to get, you know, half of the backlog done. The other half will be in episode 9, and then it's on the Legends quest, which is always a good time. Very excited about that. I feel like I've been slightly hyping this up. Although I've cut most of that in the past, so none of y'all get to see that. Bye-bye.